Okay, this is gonna be a little bit freaky for the guys who are amateurs doing this, like me. Do you see the light? That's the rocker stud hole. Now, you flip this around. You can see the hump is gone. That's about a golf ball size chunk of aluminum when you're done with it. I mean, it's a big bunch of shavings, but it's just a little nub. See that little nub? That's all it is. And yes, there's a hole there now. That is for the rocker stud. And believe it or not, that's the way you do it. I'll show you. When you put the stud back in, make sure there ain't nothing in the hole here. I want to thread a bunch of new aluminum in there. Alright. Yeah, it's pretty tight in there. You don't want to crush a bunch of aluminum in there, which I can feel. I'm probably crushing a bunch, but I'm putting it in by hand, so yeah, let me blow this out real quick. Not blow it out, but I'm going to spray it out with some brake cleaner before it gets all messed up. I'll get that light because it'll friggin' destroy it. I don't have to hit the camera either to eat that lens. I already did that once, actually. That's what these spots are you see sometimes in the light. I used some epoxy paint, not thinking about it. The camera was pretty far away, but it still got it. Alright, let's see if we can't put that stud back in. I know right now you're just looking at randomness. See if we can get this light set up on here. Alright. Everything's not happy. Pretty crunchy in there. Alright, there it goes. Alright, you see that? That's the rocker coming through there. And that's gonna seal that hole. See, I'm not trying to tighten this up real good. I'm just trying to get the bolt down as far as I want to get it right now. Alright, you see? And that seals it. That little hump right there ain't gonna affect anything. And the little gap in there is probably gonna be gone once it's tightened to spec. But as you can see, that is a ton of extra flow right there just from knocking that hump out. Let's see a comparison here. Okay. Big, huge hump. Little tiny, basically just a tip sticking out there. But it was a lot of aluminum coming out of there. And you can see the flow path now. I mean, you could even really, you can blow with it with your hand. And you can tell, because the left side down here won't get that much air. But when you do this, you can tell the difference just from blowing with your hand. You can just feel it. And that's before I even touch the swirl. You see that right here? This hump? It's not a hump really, it's actually where it's supposed to swirl. And really it kind of don't. I mean, it's kind of in the way. And when I'm not running turbo, but it helps on a turbo hugely. Like way more than it helps naturally aspirated, like I'm gonna go just regular straight, you know, fuel injection. But all this crap in here, all this chunky stuff and everything is going to have to be cut out. So that's what I'm at right now. And I'm going to continue cutting. Now I'm going to start in a swirl ramp from the other side coming in this way, and I'm going to get out and knock down that valve guide. Right here, knock this stuff out of the valve guide. Here's a better look at the swirl ramp. Now you ain't got to go crazy, it ain't got to be like to a point down here or nothing. You just got to bring that in a little bit. I just try to match this side really, and then knock all this down. But you can see there is a lot to take off there still, just trying to match this side. And you can see I did it on the other one. I just matched the other one and knocked the valve guide down. You ready to see some fun stuff? I'm going to dump this out after I did the swirl ramp and everything. So just the swirl ramp. So there you go. That's how much meat comes out of that swirl ramp. Which is quite a bit. Believe it or not, the rocker stud puts off more than that. So, see here, for comparison, that's a roll of tape, 2.5 inch roll. You can see that's quite a bit of aluminum shavings. But the actual rocker stud's about twice that, believe it or not. So let me put it in my aluminum bag. This back down. Oh, there's still some falling out there. It's alright. Ain't gonna get it all. Alright. Let's take a look inside. Oh, and I put this thing upside down. Light. Alright. Focus. There you go. Now you can see takes a bit out of there. But that's that. Now all I have to do is get all of this off, which is like the casting from the aluminum. Gotta get all that casting off. I use the burr to get all that off too. I just barely skim over it all. Get as close as I can to the actual valve seats on the inside. Just make sure you don't hit them outsides. You do not want to be paying for a valve job if you're not going to get a bigger valve anyway. But that's that.
So you may not know that sound yet, but it's the best. It's the sound of Pandora Premium's offline mode for today. With Pandora Premium, you can download your Gotta Have playlists and stations.
Quite a bit.
Internet connection, like on a plane or.
There's that rocker stud. You can see all the way down in there. All that casting's got to come off, get ground away, and become nice and smooth like those, like the exhaust ports.
Free for 30 days. Pandora Premium. Sounds like you.
But I'm gonna get back at it now, and then I'll show you after I got all of them done. Then we get to start using the actual polishing stuff, the cartridge rolls and everything. Okay, we now have all of the porting done. Now, what that's gonna do though, when you're cleaning out the rough casting inside, like you can see all that rough casting's gone, except for up here. I gotta do a little bit up there. These the valve seats, some of them can get a a hard edge on them, especially on this upper end right here and on the sides. But what you're going to want to do is see these two have them. These two don't. So what you're going to do is you're going to want to get your metal deburring tool, which is this one, and you can see it's cross cut. It's for metal. What we're going to do is we're going to barely kiss the inside of these just to where it's a smooth transition, because this is the intake side. So when it's coming in, if it hits that lip, it's stealing power. We don't want it to steal power, so you have to be smooth. So with those two are good. These two need it. It could be all four. Sometimes it can only be two. Sometimes, you know, it varies. It just does. I don't know why, but it does. So I'm gonna hook this up on the drill. Knock these out. You just gotta get it to where it's smooth transition. Then once I do that, we're gonna start the polishing portion, which is really, you don't polish these. You take these to about 80 intake side. Now the exhaust side, you can take them as high as you want to go. I take them to 320 and then I polish them. That's it. There's no need to go any higher than 320 in my opinion, but you could if you want to. And also, I don't hit the inside of the chambers with the burr at all. I only use the cartridge rolls or Tootsie Rolls, whatever you want to call them, on here. That's it. Because if you start playing with, you know, knocking stuff like this down and knocking these down with the burr, you're going to end up changing the combustion chamber size. And then it's going to be all weird. Because unless you can get them exactly the same, it's going to be weird on each one of them. So, only use the cartridge rolls on here. Okay, that's it. I hit it with the double cut for metal. These ones. Knock the edge off, so now there's no grab, it just wants to flow. So now we start the polishing. So again, I have got the best polishing stuff you can get. Literally, the mandrels I bought in a kit, they suck. The mandrels I bought alone by themselves from an actual company called Infinish are just amazing. They're so much stronger than the one that came in that cheap kit I bought. Let me see if I can't get one out here, if I can find one. I don't remember where I put them. Oh, there's one. Alright, here we go. Look how thick and beefy these things are. They're the bomb. Now, the cartridge rolls, the ones I was using out of the kit, are like a glued together, both sides are have grit and stuff on them. The ones from Infinish don't. They're glued together solid. As you can see, this is one, and I actually had to tape the bottom back on to get it to hold together, because it's where it's got grit glued over grit and it don't stick very well. Whereas, say these ones, see how tight? They're really good and strong. Those are the ones you want to use, are the Infinish ones. What is this? This is 180. That's 320. I'll have to find my 80 grit where I put it. Well, start with 80. These only get 80. I'm gonna get set up for that and start cranking it out. Okay, so as you see, I got a cartridge on there. This is not the cartridge I was wanting. I can't seem to find my 80 grit. I'm gonna look for it here in a second again. But these are gonna do for now. And again, I have the gloves to help stabilize, to get better control. But now we just start sanding away.
Beautiful on the inside. innocence personified, and I will drag you down and sell you out. Run away. I am cold like December snow. I have carved out this soul made of stone, and I will drag you down and sell you out. Embraced by the darkness, I'm losing the light. Encircled by demons I fight. What have I become now that I've betrayed everyone I've ever loved? I pushed them all away, and I have been a slave to the Judas in my mind. Is there something left for me to save in the wreckage of my life? My life. I become it. Judas in my mind. I become it. Judas in my mind. Judas in my mind. All this guilt is a heavy cross. There is blood on the path I walk, and each step I take is haunting me. Embraced by the darkness, I'm losing the light. Encircled by demons I fight. What have I become now that I've betrayed?
Intake side done. That's as far as you go with the intake side. As you can see, it's up to 80. It's still got texture to it, which is what they say it needs. To where, let me see if I can't get that. There you go. It's still got texture to it, but it is smooth. A lot smoother than this. This stuff, let's see here. That's probably, well, it's a 180 or it's an 80 sander, but it probably takes it to like, 120 is probably how it feels. Whereas this feels about like 80 grit sandpaper. And by the time it's done, it'll feel pretty smooth too. Maybe 120, but that is it. The intake side is done. Now you can see that black right there. It's really hard to get those because you'd have to have like a very skinny pointy one, which I used the last one. That was pointiest I had, and that's about as far as it got. So